Is this guy allowed to do this?
What up, everybody? It's Media Day. We're in New York City. This is not Las Vegas. I repeat, this is not Las Vegas. UFC 244 Media Day just kicking off right now. Just over here, we are expecting Nate Diaz on stage at any moment, but as you can see behind me, the media's already getting stuck into the undercard. Johnnie Walker's floating around here somewhere. Stephen Thompson's floating around here somewhere. But the biggest story, of course, Nate's not here yet. Is he going to arrive? We don't know, because this is the fucking Nate Diaz show, so who knows? If he doesn't arrive, then you better believe Jorge Masvidal's not going to arrive either. Kelvin Gastelum, fingers crossed he's going to arrive. One person who is definitely in the building at least, Mr. Darren Till. The gorilla is on location, man. Thank fuck for that. And speaking of superstars on location, step right in, my brother. Look who's here. All good? It's the vampire Dan Hardy. Right in the Halloween spirit already, as you would expect from the main man. But that's the big story, isn't it? Till is on his way. It is now 10 past 11 New York time. We're expecting Till to land around 12:30 New York time, so probably about an hour and a half from now. We're expecting him at this hotel in about 90 minutes. Hopefully we'll get some time with him then. We're definitely going to see him at the moment of weigh-ins. Most important thing is the co-main event is happening here in New York. What a card this is, though. Let's go for a walk, man. Let's have a little float around, see who we can see. See if there's anyone worth having a chat with. Let's go. So, check out the back of the screen. This is where Kelvin Gastelum is going to be sitting later. So basically what we're saying is, this white screen, this is where Darren Till should have been. Should we do a little mock Darren Till press conference? Yeah, lad, it's fucking sound and that, innit? You know what I mean? I'm the greatest, aren't I? The baddest motherfuckers arrived now, so who fucking cares? Who cares about Kevin Gastelum, man? Darren Till's here, aren't I? I'm gonna fucking smash everyone. And you had to send you. You're next, lad. There we go. A little bit of Darren Till. John, you have a chance to just get the 2 minutes?
Yeah, I'm just going to grab a coffee up here and then I'll come back down to you. Is that okay?
Yeah, no problem.
I loved your piece with Till's opponent.
Oh, with Gastelum.
With Gastelum.
Scouts.
Oh, I was laughing so hard. Remind me, I brought, Artem Lobov. That was the first time I brought him to Liverpool. And he, after like an hour, he turned and goes, "Why did he all speak like this?" It's Russian. I was laughing because he thought the first guy had a cold. And he was like, "Does everybody have a cold here?" And I was like, "Long story." Are you going to be here?
We'll mosey down, let you get a coffee and then. If Diaz is a no-show, will Masvidal do anything? Bear in mind that Diaz stopped doing UFC Embedded yesterday. As soon as Masvidal got wind of it, Masvidal said, well, I'm not doing UFC Embedded then as well. So that's going to be interesting. If Diaz is a no-show, Masvidal's a no-show, Till's not even here yet. No wonder this is the BMF card. Speaking of BMFs...
All right, lad.
John Kavanagh's here, lads. John Kavanagh.
I'm not a fucking soft lad, right?
John Kavanagh obviously watched the Kevin Gastelum I'll teach you Scouts video. Enjoyed that, John?
One of the best I've seen. And, normally when you get the fighters to try and do accents, whatever it is, they always are terrible at it. But Kevin was actually, he was getting it by the end. I thought he was pretty good,
I'm kind of hoping on the scales tomorrow he just calls Till a wool or something like that. That'd be absolutely class, wouldn't it? That'd be wicked.
That would be brilliant.
On a serious note on Till, it's 11:30 here now. He's probably due to around being told 12:30. Probably get to the hotel for 1:30. From a coaching perspective, that's not ideal, is it? But we're Wednesday of fight week now.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but I know with Till's mindset, he's probably shadowboxing on a plane right now. Stewardess is trying to get him to sit down as they're descending. I just can't imagine it having any effect on him whatsoever. I actually had a similar situation with my guy, Makwan. We were due to be here 14 days in advance. Then it was 12. Then it was 10 because there was difficulty with his visa. And he only arrived... I'm a bit confused where I am now. Is it Wednesday today?
Are we Wednesday? Wednesday? Are we Wednesday?
It's Thursday. Is it Wednesday or Thursday?
It's Thursday. It is Thursday, yeah.
So they get in. I get in last night, Wednesday night, and McGregor got in Tuesday. And, I was a little bit concerned, let's get him on the right sleep pattern. And, McGregor is Kurdish, and he was like, look what my people are going through. Oh, I'm arriving a day or two late for a fight. Get over it. And I was like, yeah, of course. I mean, it doesn't matter. I just don't believe it matters. Yeah. If the mind is right.
Of course. The fact that the fight's up at 185 is obviously critical, because you would think the way he cuts weight, he would never have been able to make 170.
That would be disastrous. But I'm sure the extra 15 pounds, he's enjoying that, and it'll be a lot less stress on his body.
What do you think of this main event? Because we're being told this is a shootout to face Conor next year anyway. But as a fight, as a standalone fight, as a fight fan, you've got to appreciate what this one's all about. These two are just going to throw down, aren't they?
Yeah. I'm going to rattle off a bunch of cliches here, but it's a fighter's fight, it's a coach's fight. It's anybody that's involved in the industry, as Nate said in one of his interviews, if I was a fan, that's the fight I want to see. There's, of course, the card is fantastic, top to bottom, and all the cards seem to be, in all the shows, just seem to be getting stronger all the time. But this one in particular, if you've been following the sport, I've been following Masvidal since he's 16, 17. I remember him fighting on Bodog, and then those old backyard fights coming out, and all these years later to see him facing another real, old school, I don't like to use the term street fighter, but there's that mentality where it's much more than just sport to them. The clash of the styles, it's a dream. I'm so happy that I'm here. Obviously, I'm here to work, but when McGregor's fight is over, I can kind of sit back and watch the Till fight and watch the Diaz fight.
Talk to me about McGregor, because we've seen him out there looking like $1 million as usual. He's an eccentric character, Mr. Finland, to say the least. What's he like to train? Because we hear these stories about him floating around from this gym to that gym and everything else. Is he settled with you at SBG? Is he a good guy to have on the mat? Is he a pain in the arse?
McGregor's great. I'm very fond of McGregor. He lived with me for a while. He's been consistent at SBG now for the entire year. He went home. He wanted to focus on boxing. He took a year out and just boxed. And I don't know actually how he got away with it, but he did a lot of boxing competitions. I just think it went under the radar. And every now and again, he put one up on Instagram. I'd be like, oh, I don't know if you should do that. You're under contract. But he did it, and it's really stood to him. Anybody that kind of wrestling / submission guy, it's usually the striking and closing distance is what they want to work on. So to take a year out and fight at a national level, and they've got some very good national level boxers over there, it has really paid off. Back home on the mat, for me, I'm a grappling fanatic. I love everything to do with wrestling and jiu-jitsu, and he's so technical with his Greco. It's an area that I didn't know as much about, and he's been such a great teacher to me. And then, obviously I'm helping him out with other areas of his MMA game. So we have a great give and take relationship.
He's a guy that, talent-wise, we've seen it in the past, that looks like he could go on a real run. Is that where he's been lacking in his stand-up with his hands? Is that why he's plugged that gap? Are we going to see McGregor really push on now in 2020?
It's been given to us on a plate here. We're on one of the biggest cards of the year. We're in Madison Square Garden. It's McGregor's first fight in the US. I feel it's really lined up for him to have. This is to get him into the top 15, and then he has 2020 to really make a run at it. And we had that featherweight belt for a while. It'd be nice to have it back in the gym. Yeah,
absolutely. Speaking of the gym, obviously January the 18th, we've been told by the man himself over in Moscow. Is that what it is, your birthday?
It'll be, well, if everything goes ahead, it'll be a second fight on my birthday. You beat Dennis Seaver on my birthday, and maybe 2 times.
Amazing. Is it a realistic date? Is it a date that you're working towards? Is it a schedule there? Is Conor due back in the gym anytime soon? Have we got an opponent in mind?
Weigh-ins are 11 weeks tomorrow. That's the approach I'm taking. So we're telling Santa he's on hold until January 19th, and we have a training schedule in place. And I'm until I'm told otherwise, that's the date I'm working towards.
We're being led to believe it's more than likely going to be Cowboy, or it's going to be Gaethje. From your own perspective, which one would you favour?
That's none of my business. That was good. I didn't even mean that. I'm a bit amped up in coffee right now. I've had a couple of cups.
Different fighters.
I hear a different rumor or a different fight name or a different date every other day, and at this stage I'm kind of jaded by it all. I'm just like, just tell me when it's done. So yeah, I've heard that name too, and I've heard other names, and Yeah, there's different names being bandied around. That's kind of leave that between Conor's management and the UFC, and I'm sure there's going to be announcements soon. They have this big card has been, I'm sure, taking up their time. The December 14 card looks unreal too. But yeah, I'm sure there's an announcement imminent. I at least hope so.
When was the last time you spoke to Conor? And is the big fear is the desire still there? All this money, all this success, the whiskey and everything else. Fans are asking the same question. Has Conor got the same hunger he had when he was on the dole and had nothing to return, because the sport effectively has kind of moved on without him?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny when he won here, Madison Square, around about this time a couple of years ago when he won the second belt. It was kind of they talk about this in other sports, but when you achieve everything that you set out to achieve, it's almost like a nightmare for a coach, because you go, oh, well, I guess he has the money, he has the belts. What's going to keep him going? And then, I guess after that then was the Mayweather fight. But yeah, I think it took him a while to figure out why he was doing it. And if the words are anything to go by, it would seem very true. But I said in the previous interview, I should have Googled the phrase before I came to you, but it's action over words. It's a Latin phrase. So now it's a time for action, and he's talking about a 2020 season, 3 fights next year. He is training. He is in shape. We are training together. But yeah, let's show you.
Well, it's no longer about money now. It's about legacy for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, what's an extra bit of money on his account going to affect him? It's not going to. It's would winning a belt again really affect him? Maybe that'd be a good thing for him. But I don't think those two are going to be the primary motivator, because he's done it. When you've sat at Madison Square cage top with 2 belts, what's going to beat that? Now I think it's about himself. It's about proving something to himself, and he talks himself about proving something to the fans who stood by him. So he wants to show them that support is not unrecognised.
Superb. Thanks, John. Enjoy the next couple of days. Appreciate it, man. Cheers. Nate Diaz finally in the house at Media Day. We're hanging with Coach Randy. And Coach, everyone we've spoken to about this fight, everyone's super excited about it. Everyone's saying this is a 50-50 fight. Anything can happen. 2 of the baddest guys in the whole sport. It's going to be unreal. But from a coach's perspective, how do you view this fight with Masvidal?
I think it's going to be good. We got 2 guys that are a lot of experience. They bring a lot of intensity every time. So as far as, I'm a fan just like anybody else for this fight. I think that they're really going to go after it. And it's going to be a good little showing for both of them, I'm sure.
Nate's such a big star globally. He won't fight for the sake of fighting. He'll only fight when he's motivated. He'll only fight when the right dance partner's available. Hence the reason why he's been so quiet over the last couple of years. After the 2 fights with Conor, he's still waiting for the trilogy fight. How important then, in terms of his motivation, was Masvidal's breakthrough over the last 12 months? Those 2 big wins really put Masvidal back on the radar.
Yeah, he was happy with that because he knows who Masvidal is. He's always been a fan of him too. So it was good to have him, like you said, do those breakthroughs. So then it was like, okay, cool, this guy's making waves, making a show. So it's somebody to fight, and then he was ready to do it,
What's it like coaching a guy like Nate? Because he's very much his own man. He doesn't seem like the guy that punches the clock every day at 7 a.m. or whatever it may be. He's kind of fluid in his lifestyle. I guess he's fluid with his training as well. Exactly. Is that something that's quite difficult or something you enjoy?
No, we've been training together since he started. So we're like training partners. I'm just kind of trying to oversee it. He knows what he wants to do every day, and he's got a good little plan. Even though it looks maybe broken up and like it's on the cusp, he knows what he's doing. He knows what boxes he has to check to get there, and I'm just trying to help him get in there. We've been training together since we both started, so it's actually really easy.
Yeah. Nate's a guy that seems like he's just always kind of fight ready. He's not really a guy that needs to enter a 10-week fight camp. We were just speaking to John Kavanagh then. He said for Conor's return in January, he said it's 11 weeks today to the weigh-ins. Camp's about to begin. Nate seems like the kind of guy that he's just always training. That's just what he loves. It's his life.
Yeah, exactly. He's always in the gym, and a lot of times when he doesn't have a fight, he's in there a lot more. So when these fights are kind of quick turnarounds or whatever, it works in his favor because he's already in there doing all the work. he's always prepared. So he just needs to sharpen a couple things up here and there for the last couple weeks, and he's ready to go.
I love the way these guys are throwing down here on Saturday, and it's a belt that Nate invented. And the fans are more engaged about this than the welterweight title fight that's actually happening in a couple of weeks' time. Are we seeing a bit of a change in the sport? Because, it's like the open workouts of the day. Nate doesn't do the open workouts, he does Q&A. So now everyone's started doing Q&As. He's changing the game.
Yeah, he's pretty innovative person. He knows what he's doing. Like I said, it looked kind of random, but he's got a goal he's going towards, and he's helping all the fighters, actually, like you're saying, at Apex even the company, so that's great,
Absolutely. And will we see Nick over the next couple of days, you think? Is he coming into town?
Yeah, he should be here tonight, so he'll be around, so that's always good.
Yeah, man. It should be fun. Thanks, Randy. Appreciate it, man. Enjoy it.
UFC's just posted that.
Wicked. From the stage yesterday.
Yeah. Can you show the camera? Yeah, let's do it. One more.
When it comes to helping guys prepare for big fights, there can't be anyone more fun to be around than Nate Diaz, Chris. And what's this camp been like?
Same. It's a normal camp. It was good. Just rolled in from the Anthony Pettis fight onto this one. This was a little sooner than he thought, but yeah, he got it.
It's nice to see Nate busy once again, and we were just talking to Randy then about the right dance partner, and Masvidal breaking through over the last 12 months, becoming the right dance partner to get Nate enthused, get him buzzing again. You must have seen it on the mats where he goes, okay, this could be the guy.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. He called him out. He called him out. He's like, nobody else is doing what these two are doing. So.
Absolutely. Nobody else is inventing their own belts. Nobody else is getting the fans as excited as these two guys are right now. That's unreal.
Yeah, right.
They're kind of like changing the sport.
Yeah, it's a big change. It's about time, though, that everybody's realizing and recognizing what's real, what's going on.
What's it like to spar with Nate? What's he like day to day? What's he like as a training partner?
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's great.
Just give us a quick prediction, Chris, for the fight on Saturday night. What have you seen in camp that we're going to see on Saturday?
He can do what he does, I got my boys back. I don't know. Whatever happens. He gonna do a good job.
As long as that arm's raised at the end, yeah?
Yeah, right.
Cheers, Chris. Appreciate it, man. When it comes to haircuts in MMA, is there a better one than that? Is there a better haircut in all of MMA than Johnnie Walker? I think not, man. I think not. We're getting 2 minutes in the media room with Johnnie Walker's coach. We've seen on Embedded that Johnny's enjoying himself as usual here in New York. Big smile on his face. But a good step up in opponent for this fight. You must be very happy.
Yeah, it's very happy because this phenom. Johnnie Walker is a phenom. But Johnny don't train for fight. Johnny trains for belt. Every day Johnny train for belt. This Johnny live for belt. Johnny is future champion.
So we get a big statement here on Saturday night. Is John Jones next?
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I like this. Johnny like too.
When Johnny is training, it's always about the belts, but one man has dominated this weight division for so long now, John Jones. You as a coach, do you have to make a fighter to beat John Jones or make the best Johnnie Walker?
I think this Johnnie Walker is a future lion. It's a new lion. It's a dominated category light heavyweight and future heavyweight too.
Wow. I know when Chris Weidman ended Anderson Silva's long run as champion, They made a guy to beat Anderson Silva, not a guy to be champion for a long time. They made someone just to beat Anderson Silva. Are you always thinking, John Jones, we've got to beat John Jones?
Yeah, but Chris Weidman, is no comparison with Johnnie Walker. It's a different mind, different things, different ideals. So Johnny is different.
Where does it come from? Where does that spark come from? His creativity? Where does it come from? Is it just him? Is it something you've nurtured as a coach?
Yeah, a little, but Johnny born is a talent.
Just got it.
These are different. Johnny is a Saiyajin. They're the same as Goku and Vegeta. It's different.
Is he the type of guy that, as a coach, when he walks through the door, you think, oh, yes?
Yeah. This is. I'm sleeping and wake up. It's Johnny is the best.
Johnnie Walker, UFC champion 2020?
Yeah.
My man. Thank you, sir. Standing here with the head coach of Edmund Shabazan over there. He's got a big step-up opponent this Saturday night. Big step up, but also a great opportunity for him as well.
Absolutely. We're fighting a great fighter. He's a good veteran, a lot of experience. So it's a great time for Shabazian to shine, to show what he's made of.
He's come into the UFC with a good bit of momentum behind him, and he's really hit the ground running, some really big wins already. Have you got high hopes for him to go right to the top?
Well, absolutely. He's going to break into the top 10. He's only 21 years old, but, he's been doing this since he was 10 years old. I've seen a lot of good fighters in our gym, great fighters in our gym. So we know what he's made of. He's sparred the best in the world, and, and he's competed in the amateurs and a lot of high-level competition in boxing and wrestling. So this kid's ready to do it.
Have you had him since that age as well, Edmund? Have you had him since he was 10 years old? Has he been coming to you that long?
Yes, since 10 years old, he's been in my gym and just only trained in my gym and prepared in my gym for this fight also.
Wow. In terms of this generation, how MMA's moved forward, especially, we're seeing guys like Edmund, as you say, been training since the age of 10. We think we've seen some amazing things in the UFC so far. Anderson Silva, Ronda Rousey, of course, John Jones. But what's this generation going to bring? Are we about to hit a whole new threshold, do you think?
Absolutely, I think it's there how they prepared from a younger age. Edmund doesn't know what he is sometimes. If he has to wrestle, he wrestles, and he has to strike, he strikes. And sometimes he says, "Coach, I could do either or. I could make a decision in the second when I'm fighting. What I want to do." And I'm like, that's a great thing. We don't have to only game plan for one specific thing. And if the fight goes to a certain area, we don't have to get so worried. The kid can wrestle, he could strike. A lot of when you look at all the greats you've said, Anderson Silva, he's more of a striker. Has he used his wrestling to win? Yes, he has. He could wrestle too, but it's more of striking. So with Edmund, you're going to see both. You're going to see finishes on the ground. You're going to see finishes standing up. So, he's going to be a special kid.
When you look back now on your time with Ronda, you look back on it fondly? Do you look back on those days when you just kind of took over the sport single-handedly, pretty much?
Yeah, it's fun. It was a great journey. We had a great run, together, and she did amazing things. And now it's for the young ones to look at that and learn from that. Everything that was great, that was good, that they could use and they could, use to be successful and learn from it. It's absolutely great.
Ideally, a big win for Edmund on Saturday night. As a coach, 2020, what would be the ideal plot for you in 2020? Because he's only a young guy, but a big win here on Saturday, it's going to be hard for you to hold him back.
Yeah, no holding back. I like the way the UFC is building him, and Dana and Mike and all of them give us great fights. I think the kid needs challenges, and the first fight we took, we went up against Stewart, and Stewart's been looking great. He's won 2 fights in a row. He's beaten guy that was 6-0 last fight from I think AKA American Kickboxing Academy, and the guy was. They were saying he's a good wrestler. He's a great wrestler, Olympic alternate. But Stewart went in there and showed he could win. First fight, Edmund went up against Stewart, and after the fight, Edmund was only 180 pounds. He walked in there at 188, 89, and he burned all that. By the time we're in the locker room, he was sweating still. It was a tough wrestling match, and he didn't balance the war the way he should have. But he learned from that. But it showed that he could be in there, and he got tested in the first fight. He went up against a guy that was on a 2-fight winning streak, and now after Edmund's loss, he's back on a 2-fight winning streak again. So now we have a test in front of us, and once we win, we don't want to, get anything easier than that. We want to get in the top 10, and I want Edmund to be the youngest champion in UFC history. We've done. With my gym, we've done things special. I don't want to say me. We have great coaches in my gym, but we've done things special, and we've had a special champion like Ronda, and we could have a special champion like Edmund that will be the youngest champion in the world.
Yeah, man. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Best of luck for Saturday. You heard it here first. The youngest champion in UFC history. Watch this space. Joe Benavidez, UFC 244. It's a hell of a card, Joe. Which fight are you looking forward to most?
I mean, the main event, obviously, the most, but it's awesome with these cards when you start looking at the rest and you're like, oh my God, that's happening too. And these cards are great when you get it to the fight and you realize, oh my God, these next 4 fights are going to be insane. That one's still happening, and then that one ends, and you're like, oh my God, we still have this one. So that's kind of how I feel about this card, is like as a whole, it's incredible.
Till still isn't in the country. He's on a plane at the moment.
Yeah.
He's due to arrive in a couple of hours. You're someone that's fought all over the world. How will that affect him, conditioning-wise?
I can't say because I haven't been in that situation. I have fought all over the world, but it's been how it's supposed to be, how we're used to it being, getting here 4 days ahead, 5 days ahead. And I've always told people that are like, they want me to fight in Japan or they want me to fight here or there. I'm like, listen, it doesn't matter the time. Don't put too much into that of training at 3 in the morning or training at 4 in the morning. Like, get there and like you're going to have to fight anyway. Just like if someone came into your house at 2 in the morning, you're going to have to get up and get your adrenaline going or whatever anyway. So I just always think of it like that. But I haven't been in this situation. He's in a new weight class. It's a huge fight. And this isn't an adequate amount of time to get here, I don't know when, tomorrow or something. Could affect everything. I mean, people don't realize just how cross-country travel affects your body and your system, immune system and stuff in general. So I don't really know. I mean, I think it's a positive that he's going up to 85. He has 15 pounds to play with. If it was 70, I mean, this would be almost an impossible thing, I think, for him to do. So hopefully it works out.
Do you think it's
a good fight?
Yeah. Is it a big momentum shift towards Kelvin, though? Still put himself at a disadvantage?
Kind of, but it's one of those things, too. Like, it's almost better, something like Gaslam's stressing on the same end. You know what I mean? And now Till is at a point where maybe he doesn't even know what he's going to fight. He doesn't have a ton to expect. He doesn't have any nerves to really build up. Like when he's here doing stuff every day, it becomes so real. But sometimes when you just get there and train or get there and fight, there was nothing to think of. You're just totally reactionary, with no emotion, where Kelvin, I think, is the one going through the emotion right now of like, is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? Where Till's like, I saw him hitting mitts with his kid or something. He gets here, he fights. You want these fights to seem like they'd be another day. So maybe it will be, if it just kind of like he doesn't have to go through the whole fight week thing and get here and it's just like, it's another day. I'm just fighting like I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
So
Before I let you go, can I just ask you about Henry Cejudo and why your name is never on his lips anymore?
Dude, I have no idea. It's a weird thing. I mean, I think, sadly, if I had to admit, I think it's a sign of that he doesn't want to fight at flyweight again. I would never come out and state a guy is scared of me or scared of this. I mean, the guy's done things we've obviously fought before. I don't think he's scared of that. I just think it's definitely a harder road to fight me, someone that beat him, someone that'll come after him for 15 minutes, or to not cut weight and fight at 35. I will say that. I don't think anyone's scared or anyone's this, anyone's that. I mean, we're all professional fighters. No one's scared. But I think, there is a harder road here, and there's a easier, more glamorous road here that he'd rather take. So it's tough. I've talked to him. I honestly just want to know. He can't fight till March. I'm willing to wait till then, but I don't want to know in January when he starts preparing that he's not going to fight me in March anyway. And I think that's the problem with the double champs is no matter who he picks, somebody was kind of on the, sidelines a little too long, longer than they should have been. So that's the problem with it. Like, it's cool while it lasts, but then it loses its luster after a year when it comes to like, well, who's he going to fight? What's he going to do? So that's where we're at now. Obviously, I want it to be me, but in a way it's like, what can I do? It's not like a DJ or somebody that like beat me and now he's like leaving. Like, I beat him and now he's the one that doesn't want to fight. So he can go on. I can fight for a vacant title. It's still undisputed. I didn't have to beat the champion. I already did. He's the one that has to really beat me. So, but at the same moment as an individual, he seems to be comfortable with that of like, you know what? I can live with that, and that's kind of what it's all about. If he's comfortable with that and that's what he wants to do, I can't control that stuff. I don't go out there and bother him. I ask him straight up, like, hey, what the hell's going to go on? Like, let's do this. I've talked to him in person in Vegas just a few weeks ago. But other than that, it's ultimately something I just have to control myself, and I don't worry about other people,
It's Halloween today. Maybe it's because he sees you as the candy man. It's one of them. If I say Joe's name twice, Joe might appear. Yeah. Maybe that's what the problem is.
Yeah, maybe something like that. He's trying to Beetlejuice or something. Yeah.
Thanks, Joe. Enjoy the weekend, man. Take care. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Media day backstage with Mike Brown, coach extraordinaire. Should we be concerned, Mike, that Jorge Masvidal's not turned up to meet the press today?
Nah, I think
Is
we're
this
all right.
what bad motherfuckers do, is it?
I think I don't know. I think he might still be coming. Maybe he's getting his hair braided or something. I think he's taking care of business. Yeah.
The open workouts were fun yesterday. Getting guys up out the stage, the body spar. Was that planned? Did you know about that before you left the hotel, or was that something Jorge just kind of made up on the spot?
No, that was planned. That was good entertainment. That's what that was. That was a good idea. Yeah. Right. That was. If we had a little more room, and we could have let him go full sparring, would have been greater. We had an idea of having some of our buddies go really hard, but we didn't get it that far. It got shut down. It would have been nice.
Is that something that goes on at regular ATT? If visitors come through the door, they have to do a bit of body sparring?
That's something like George likes to do. Sometimes before training, he'll set it up with, a couple striking coaches. He'll make them grapple. Oh, you guys got to have a grappling match right now, or we're not training. Or we'll last night we had a makeshift karate tournament before the training started. Everybody just goofy stuff like that. It's fun, good entertainment. Nobody gets hurt.
The fight itself. 2 years ago, if somebody had said Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal, main event, pay-per-view, Madison Square Garden, I think a lot of fans may have laughed at the thought of it, but wow, this is why we love this sport so much. What a fight it is, probably the biggest fight of the year. And who needs a belt, eh?
I don't know. You told me 2 years ago, I wouldn't have probably been surprised. I think they're both great, always been great entertainers, great, very exciting fighters. I don't think it was out of the realm of possibility, and it's you're always one exciting fight away from a title shot these days. If you're a world-class, reputable fighter, and that's what these guys are.
The big revival for Jorge really started in London with the knockout of Till. When that call came through to take the Till fight, obviously Jorge, yourselves, on in the business of turning down fights, but did you see that straight away as an opportunity for him to really springboard back into the limelight again?
And that's what he always wanted. He just wanted big fights. All he always was pleading for and calling for is the best guys. He didn't want to fight guys that were not ranked. He wanted guys above him. He wanted top 5 guys. Give him a top 5 guy, he'll fight anybody. That was kind of his motto. So Till was there. Till just fought for the belt. So that's what he wanted, man. He wasn't going to miss an opportunity like that. He believes in himself, as do all the people behind him. He knows that he can beat anybody in the world, and that was his opportunity to show everybody.
He sure did. Then obviously rolled into the Askren fight. Again, tons of press around it. I've got to ask you, was that fighter technique or was that coach? Did coach bring that to the table, the flying knee out the gates? Was that all you, Mike?
No, not at all. That was his idea. This was like, I believed in it. I thought it was a great idea. And you look at things and you're like, damn, yeah, this is a high percentage chance this is going to work. But that's George's idea, and he's got a great mind for fighting. He's got many tools and techniques to pull from. If you have a hole, this is a guy who can exploit it.
Does Diaz have enough holes for Jorge to exploit?
I think so. I think he has some amazing strengths, but everybody has holes. As does Diaz, and he's also as game as any fighter could possibly be. So it's going to make for a really exciting fight.
From a coaching perspective, is this one of those fights where you've got to check yourself in the corner, remember to do a job? Because I'm sure even as a fight fan, you must be salivating at the thought of this one as well, because stylistically, this can't be a bad fight, can it?
No, pumped to see this one. Everyone is excited to see this fight, and we'll be in the zone, man. We'll be. I'm excited that'll have such a great seat for it, but no, we'll be focused on the job.
You've obviously got Andrei Arlovski on the card as well. Do you prefer it that way? Do you prefer to be busy rather than sitting in the dressing room all night waiting for one fight?
There's pros and cons to it, It's good that there's at least a solid separation in between the two fights. It can get kind of messy when they're back to back or close to it, because you're trying to warm guys up and kind of mentally prepare for each fight. But we have a few hours in between those two fights, I believe, so it'll be smooth sailing. While we're out here, might as well take care of, make some money on a couple fights.
Absolutely. And I've got to ask you about the co-main event. Obviously, you prepared Jorge for the fight against Till in London. And in terms of skill set, stylistically, how do you see that fight playing out? And do you think Till's got holes in his games that Gastelum with his good hands can exploit, or do you think it's a good match?
No, it's a great fight. Two of the very best. Both guys are elite fighters, so anything can happen in there. I think Gastelum is wrestling, conditioning. He's as good as they come. Till, I think, has size advantage and length, and I think maybe striking pedigree or technique, maybe edge there. It's a very even fight, difficult fight to call.
What else on the undercard are you looking forward to, Mike? What are the fights that are down there appealing to you?
This is great. I love Luke, Wonder Boy, amazing fight. Of course, Andre. Shane Burgos is really fun to watch. It's a lot of depth to this card, right? I think we haven't seen this in a while, where there's 9-10 fights that you're a fan of both guys. You don't always see this, but this is one of those pay-per-views, kind of like an old school pay-per-view where you know everybody on the card and you're excited to see all the guys fight. So one that you'll make sure on the early prelims you're tuned in, ready to watch.
Hopefully this means we're seeing the sport de-evolve a little bit, where it's not just about the titles and just about the guys surging through these young prospects and whatever. It's more about, can I just make an amazing fight?
Yeah, and it used to be like that too. There was a time when every fight was really important, and just to be the first fight of the prelims was super exciting, and everybody knew who those guys were, and it was very prestigious even to be on that spot. With so many shows, you don't always have that. Sometimes it's like it's based around one or two fights, and you got a lot of filler. But this is one that's very strong, top to bottom.
Thank you, Mike. Enjoy it, man. Good luck for Saturday.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
Happy? Backstage at UFC 244 with Kelvin Gastelum's head coach, the one and only, the icon, multiple-time Coach of the Year, the man himself, King's MMA head coach, Rafael Cordeiro. Rafael, preparations for Kelvin's opponent may not have gone to plan this week, but how have things gone with Kelvin? You happy?
I'm super happy. We work hard for this moment. We know how hard Darren Till is, and we put a great train for him. He's prepared for a war. We believe it's going to be the toughest fight of Darren's career. As the same way we believe for Kelvin is going to be the same. So each fight for us is going to be the worst fight of our life. I prefer think like that.
When the fight got made, people were saying this is a lose-lose fight for Kelvin. He's fighting a guy that's coming off a two-fight skid, a guy moving up in weight division. What does this do for Kelvin's career? If he gets the victory on Saturday, it doesn't automatically get him a title shot again. So a big risk fighting a guy like Darren Till.
Yeah, for sure. But when you come from loss, it's hard for you to negotiate something. Like you have to accept, to prove, then you can come back to the top. So we accept this fight. We agree to do this fight. We believe Darren Till is a tough dude. It's not like people think, it's going to be his fight. It's going to be a tough fight for both. But we believe we have weapons to beat Darren. And after this fight, I think we're going to run for the belt. This is what we think. About the accept the fight, when you lost, like I say, you have to accept and see what is going to happen in the future. But we believe if you put a great show on Saturday, he's going to be in the road for one more time to fight for the belt.
Till's an unusual story because he's a guy from England that went to Brazil for 4 years. Went to Brazil for 4 years, done a lot of training there, was training with the Nogueira brothers, training with a lot of high-level guys, Astra and things like that. As a Brazilian guy, you must respect that. You must know that he's got something in him to keep him going.
For sure. The first thing that I respect this kid, I have a zero against him. There was such a nice guy. He always treated me very, very well, as the same way I treat him. He speaks Portuguese very, very fluently. When he talk, you say, man, this guy's Brazilian. He speaks very, very well. And I respect him to, move his life to Brazil, to learn the language, to learn martial art, to surround himself with a lot of good fighters, as some way Kelvin. Kelvin speaks Portuguese very well, he speaks Spanish, speaks English, trained with a lot of Brazilians inside the King's MMA, and we prepare him for good things. We have a good people around, Fabrício Verdun helping him with his jiu-jitsu, so the Brazilian community helping him a lot as well.
There's been a lot of talk how Till arriving late is going to be bad for him. He might struggle to make a weight cut, or not good for his preparation. But from Kelvin's point of view, would you like to have seen, you and Kelvin? Sometimes it's nice to lay eyes on the opponent, see what this guy looks like at middleweight, have a look at him, see how he's. You've missed that opportunity as well. Kelvin hasn't had the chance to size Till up yet, and that's kind of important fight week as well.
Well, Kelvin is a professional fighter, to be honest with you. He fought against the toughest guys in the world on his division. And today is just one more day. They no face each other, no face off. But we know as soon as they stand in front of each other, it's going to be what we put in the plan. And things like that, no change what we want for Kelvin, what we plan for his career. And it's going to be one more experience. Like today, his opponent, unfortunately, he was not here. Things happen, visa, things like that. Unfortunately for him, but he's a tough dude. He's going to come here. He's going to do what I have to do. He's going to fight against one of the toughest guys in the world. And this is what we're looking for. Bring his best. He have to bring his best because we have zero skills. It doesn't matter what is going to happen in the fight. We have zero skills. Kelvin, he's in the best moment in his career. No injury, perfect in techniques, perfect in all fundamental things. So I never promise victory. I never promise victory. The coach, if some coach say my fighter, he gonna knock the guy in the first round. No, this guy is a BS guy. What I put always is martial arts. I respect Darryl. It's gonna be a tough fight for both, but we believe we have weapons to beat him. This is what we believe.
You've trained some of the most iconic fighters over the years: Anderson, Vanderlei, Fabrizio Verdun. So many guys, Shogun, so many guys. Where does Kelvin Gastelum rank on the guys you've trained? Is he, all-round athlete now? Are you happy with him? Could he get on top and stay on top?
What I can say, Kelvin is my new Shogun. Kelvin is my new Shogun, 100%. Personality, lovely kid, come train with everybody, always smile in the face. He remember too much, Shogun. But as soon as they step inside the octagon, they change. They change. They become a different animal. This make me remind the old times, Pride, back in the days, the Pride days, Shogun a lot. When I look, they very, very similar. You look at the guys, twins. And the personality, the way they fight, never say no for any fight. They like to put a great show. And I want to say something about Kelvin. So before his fight against Israel, we went to the locker room. 5 minutes before the fight, I was talking with him. I said, Kelvin, we're going to do this, that, in the fight. He said, okay, Massa, can I say something? I said, for sure. He said, I want to fight against this guy. I want to go in. I say, that's it, Kelvin. That's it. This is what the coach wants to hear from their fight. Yeah. I can say to you, you go there, you go against this guy 100%. I can say that. But when you say to me, I go there, I'm going to put my heart. This is what each coach wants to hear, and I hear that before the fight. This makes me feel so confident. He could put a war. He promised a war, he put a war. And I promise, we're going to put a great war Saturday. It's going to be a great war. It's going to be a great fight, clean fight, fair fight, but it's going to be a tough fight.
Absolutely. The sport itself, MMA, since the Pride days, since back in the day, how far has the sport come on? Can you believe this? Can you believe how far the sport's come now? Madison Square Garden, Las Vegas.
We made it.
Crazy.
We made it. We have to thank Pride. First of all, I think we have to thank Pride for all the time they invest, they spend inside the fighters, make the history of the sport in Japan. So make a lot of legends. So from Japan, we spent United States. UFC make a great job. And everything started with Pride, but UFC make the dreams come true. If you are here today, I'm in the business for almost, I don't want to say my age. I'm 46 years old. My first value to the fight was in 1993. So my first fight was the same year as UFC born. So I never imagined we are here today, in the Madison Square Garden, see what we're gonna see Saturday. For me, it's like this is the dream come true. As a fighter in the past, now as a coach of the year, because UFC promote too much the show and make people know about my job. I'm thankful to be here today. Start everything in the Pride with the history about fighters, with the history about how to building idols, and we are here today.
You must love this main event as well, Diaz Masvidal. That's your kind of fight, Rafael.
Yeah. Fight like both. They came to put a great show. I believe Diaz. It's going to be a great fight. Diaz and Masvidal is going to be a great fight. It's hard to say something because they have a lot of heart. They fight forward. But if I have to say something, it's hard, man. It's 50-50. Maybe a little Diaz, yes, because Diaz, he can get some punches, he can go, he never stop. Like a Walker, he'll never stop. I believe a little bit for Diaz.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Enjoy the next few days, Rafael. Thank you so much. Legend.